guys, welcome. Today I am bringing you along for a full day of meals. So this is going to be a full day of meals at our house. This is just realistic, actual daily meals from scratch, just real. Like this is what we do, not modified to make it fancy for the video or anything. This is just real life from scratch cooking at our house, keeping it super real. So this day of meals actually starts the night before, as I am getting ready for breakfast the next day. I am putting some oatmeal to soak. So this is one of my kids' favorite breakfasts. They love it so much. I like it because it's really easy. A lot of the work is done the night before, and then you just let it sit and soak, and in the morning it comes together so quickly. So I have my rolled oats. For our family, I'm doing 2 cups of organic rolled oats, and then I'm doing twice as much liquid. I am putting some kefir and then the rest spring water with it, and then I just let that sit on the counter all night. So soaking helps to deactivate those anti-nutrients, makes the oats a lot more easy to digest, and it makes them cook so quickly. The next morning, I just put this pot on the stove, bring it to a simmer. Once it's kind of boiling, I bring it down to a low temperature. I'll add some salt, lots of butter, lots and lots of butter. I try to pack as much butter as I can into this. And then also some sucanat. I really like adding the sucanat to the pot as I'm cooking it rather than later to individual bowls. It's just easier, it's faster, it's nicer for younger kids because then it's just already in there. There's not extra discussions about how much sweetener everybody's getting on their bowl and different things like that. So then once this has cooked over low for, it really just takes a few minutes to thicken up really nicely. I just make sure that that sucanat is kind of stirred in nicely. The butter is completely melted, and then it's ready to come off the stove. We serve this in individual bowls, and we like to put raw milk on it. We like cold raw milk from the fridge. It kind of helps cool the hot oatmeal down nicely, makes it easier for younger kids to eat more quickly, just, so it's not so hot that way. And then we will enjoy that for breakfast today. And then pictured here also are the probiotic foods that my kids are having today. One of my kids is having plain milk kefir for his probiotic food, and then my daughter is having some beet kvass before breakfast today as well. About mid-morning, I'm going to go ahead and start getting dinner together. This is one of those kind of fix it and, for the most part, forget it type of dinners that you get together earlier in the day and then it kind of just cooks itself. I will have to add a couple things a little bit later on, but I really like these kinds of dinners. It just kind of takes a lot of the mental load of dinner off of your mind earlier in the day so that most of the work is done. And then that busy late afternoon, early evening time of day is just made a lot easier because a lot of that work was already done earlier in the day. You'll notice that the meat that I'm using here is frozen, so I have been kind of failing lately, to be completely transparent and honest about remembering to take meat out to defrost. So a lot of times things will be taken out frozen, and as long as I start it earlier enough in the day, it's not been a problem. So if that makes you feel any better, I'm, trying to keep up with everything here too. So sometimes I forget to take meat out to defrost ahead of time. And that was today. But the stew that I'm making is a really nutrient-dense beef stew. So I have 3 different types of meat in here. I have some stew meat, I have some beef heart. It's a portion of a beef heart that's already been cleaned out and everything. And then some beef kidney as well. So it's like a beef organ stew, is what it really is. So I love including things like organ meats on a regular basis because they are nutrient powerhouses. It's one of the things that I feel like is sad that our modern world kind of misses out on. And I love the revolution or like a new movement, I guess, of people bringing these back and including them more, whether that's supplements or including them in meals. I'm definitely here for that. So um, just, yeah, love including organ meats on a regular basis. It's amazing how good they make you feel. And you might notice that I've added onion powder. Somehow I ran out of onions. I don't know how I let that happen. They're one of my staples that I try to always keep on hand, but somehow or another I did not have onions today. And so I went ahead and used onion powder. I did have whole fresh garlic. So I'm adding fresh pressed garlic cloves, but then I have some salt, pepper, bay leaf, spring water, and then I'm just getting those in there, and I'm just going to start these simmering in the oven, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And later on, I will pull that out and add a few more things to it, but I just wanted to get the spices, spring water, and then those different cuts of beef in there and start that slow simmering process in the oven in my cast iron Dutch oven. It's a 7-quart cast iron Dutch oven. I love that thing. I use it all the time. It's what I bake my bread loaves in. I'm always using it for slow, low temperature cooked dinners in the oven. It's great. And then for lunch, I am getting out a few different things. This is some liver pate. I guess unintentionally, we kind of have an organ meat theme today. I did not really go into this planning that at all. I'm just kind of, you know, doing things today kind of off the cuff, using up what needs to be used up in the freezer as far as meat, leftovers in the refrigerator. And so I happen to have this nice big batch of beef liver pate. This is another great way to get organ meats in. Liver is amazing just for making you feel so good. It gives you amazing energy. It has so many vitamins in it. It's just incredible. And I will say that I came from being a big liver hater, but this liver pate recipe is delicious and it makes you feel so good. So we have carrot sticks alongside that, and then some sourdough crackers, and then there was some leftover ice cream actually that I pulled out of the freezer and enjoyed that after lunch too. So homemade chocolate ice cream that we had made the other night, pulled that out and enjoyed it. The liver pate recipe is on my website, and I'll link that down below as well. That was something we had made for dinner a couple nights ago, and that made a really great lunch for today. At this point, the different cuts of beef have been simmering for a while, and I am pulling out the heart. It was frozen, like I said before, so I wanted it to be cut up into some smaller pieces to more resemble the stew meat so that it would fit nicely in the stew in just like bite-sized pieces. So I'm pulling that out, I'm cutting that into like 1-inch pieces and then adding that back. And then I am also going to be adding some vegetables to this. So I have some organic mixed vegetables that are corn, peas, carrots, green beans. I'm also adding these frozen cubed organic potatoes. Of course, you could cut up potatoes and add them too, but I love keeping these stashed in the freezer just to make cooking very easy. I buy these in a big bulk bag from Azure Standard. I'll have a link to them below too. One of my favorite places to get high quality organic groceries. So I'm adding these little cubed potatoes right now. And then I'm going to also add my vegetables later on so that I want the vegetables to have a pretty short cook time. So, and also those little cubed potatoes cook pretty quickly too, especially compared to like cutting up whole fresh potatoes. They cook really fast. So now works to go ahead and add my frozen mixed organic vegetables too. So I'm adding these, and then I'm also adding some tomato paste. I don't always add tomato paste when I'm doing a beef stew, but sometimes I do. I like to kind of switch it up, but I do really enjoy adding tomato paste. It just kind of gives a new dimension of flavor to the broth or meat stock that comes from making this. I don't have a bone in this time. I couldn't find any bones that would really work today in this stew from the freezer, so I'm just doing it without a bone. Ideally, it would be nice to have a cut with a bone in there too, but it will still be okay. We'll still enjoy it. It'll still be great. Still have great nutrients. So that goes back into the oven just for a short amount of time. I really don't let it go much longer than about 30 minutes or so, just to make sure that those potatoes are cooked and then that the vegetables are not overcooked. And then at this point, it is really ready to serve up. So we're gonna go ahead and serve this up, and I'll also show you what we're enjoying alongside it as well. So alongside it, we have some homemade sourdough bread that we are slathering very thickly with grass-fed butter, and it just makes a really hearty, filling meal. So with the potatoes in there, you're already getting some starch, and so the stew really can be just a great standalone meal all by itself. The bread is not needed, but I do have it, and we really enjoy it, and it does definitely make the meal go further. So, and like I said, we really enjoy it too. So we're gonna go ahead and slice that up, spread grass-fed butter on there nice and thickly, and enjoy these alongside the bowls of our beef stew. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed seeing a full day of realistic meals at our house, and hopefully you enjoyed seeing those aspects of like I'm out of onions and I forgot to take the meat out to defrost, and how it still comes together. We still make it work, still dedicated to keeping things from scratch and keeping it totally doable. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.